Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with another bit of Total War Warhammer 2 Quick Match gameplay. This time around we are playing as the Greenskins against the forces of the Dark Elves, and it's definitely going to be a bit of a memey matchup because we are bringing Grimgor Ironhide, Grimgor the best, to this match. So basically this whole build, I wanted to make Grimgor work. I was kind of thinking, what lord should I run? Should I go try hard and do word sag? Should I go cheap with a shaman, whatever? And then I'm like, screw this, we're going with Grimgor. We're going to make him work. I don't care if he doesn't work. We're going to make it work. And incidentally, this build definitely represents all the flavors of the WoW, or almost all the flavors of the WoW. We got Black Orcs, we got Savage Orcs, we have Goblins, Night Goblins, Forest Goblins. The only thing we're missing is vanilla Greenskins, I guess. But alas, what can you do? So for the build, Grimgor, not much to be said for him. My main hope here was that my opponent's either going to bring Executioners or Sister of Slaughter, and Grimgor with his high melee attack, good weapon strength, Get Snick, Wah, and Stand Your Ground is going to be able to mince through them alongside the Crimson Killers. And that was kind of going to be the battering ram of this army. Besides that, on the peripheries, we do have 2 units of Savage Orc Big Guns supporting that central Wrecking Wall. Savage Orc Big Guns will trade really well with Sister of Slaughter. They'll do okay against Harganeth Executioners with magical or Wah help. Some Goblins on the flanks. Not much to be said for them. They're just there to soak up missile pressure and buy me time. And then we do have the AP Loonies here in the center to soak up missiles, maybe meant for the Crimson Killers, provide their Loonies, and of course apply poison and all that good stuff. Now, supporting me, we do have the Night Goblin Shaman here. He's pretty heavily kitted out. Definitely one of the more heavily kitted out Shamans I've brought. He's got Sneaky Stabbing, he's got Sneaky Stealing, Vindictive Glare, Itchy Nuisance, Gorkla Fix It, as well as Wand of Jet. So he's got crowd control, he's got damage, he's got everything. Buffs, debuffs, all that good stuff. Alongside him, we do have the Arachnarok Queen. She is there to provide me with a bit of anti-large. I was really worried about dragons or perhaps Hydra play. Both are pretty popular against Greenskins, so you want some counters to that. And I think the Arachnarok Queen is great for that. Finally, 2 Doomdiver Catapults as well as 2 Nasty Skulkers to protect them in the very back. And they are going to start raining on my opponent's blob. And my opponent has really made a blob here. In my opinion, this is a big misplay. You want to spread your units out, but there is some merit to blobbing against Greenskins because you can soak up WoW better if you're in a box. That said, already Bleak Swords are getting dumpstered here. My opponent had Bleak Swords in the front line, backed by 2 Dark Shards with shields, 3 Black Orc Corsairs, and a back composed of Dread Spears as well as the Hellebronai. Now, unfortunately, there's no real AP here to deal with the Black Orcs, which could be an issue. He does have the Charybdis on the flank, as well as a Lockyer Fellheart up in the sky alongside a Sorcerer's Fire with Burning Head, Fireball, and Flaming Sword of Ruin, which is an oddball choice. I really wouldn't bring that against Greenskins. I don't think it's worth it. Lockyer Fellheart here, kitted out. He's got Merciless Slaver, which actually hurts Greenskins a lot because their leadership isn't great. Helm of the Kraken for that regen. Foe Seeker, Dreaded Duelist, as well as Deadly Onslaught. So we're going to see who's the best here. Is it the Dreaded Slaver of Karankar, or is it good old Grimgor Ironhide? Now, definitely, I think one of the weaknesses, though, here for my opponent's build is the lack of enough AP, I think, to deal with Black Orcs. Perhaps I'm wrong, but the 2 Dark Shards, Charybdis, and Lockyer definitely seem a little lackluster. You can see already the Sorcerers here taking a shot to the face from Vindictive Glare. In the meantime, the Doomdivers are already chipping away at the Dark Shards, and everything that misses is hitting the rest of this box, and that's really not what you want happening. Now, unfortunately, here, a Burning Head does go down the line, but kind of whiffs. It doesn't kill the catapults. My opponent is roasting my crew a little bit, but who really cares? And we saved the Night Goblins pretty well, or the Nasty Skulkers pretty well. Fortunately, we did lose a Doomdiver over there to the Fireball, but that's a good chunk of magic my opponent's already used up. And here he is going to go after my Goblin Shaman, which is definitely a little annoying. We did try to get a Vindictive Glare off, but it's too little too late. We do get the Spider in there, but my opponent is doing so much hurt right now. And we're just not really able to get our magic in. So that's definitely rough stuff. In the meantime, the Wah is kicked off, and we are pushing in hard. Hot and heavy. Grimgor leading the way here, looking to chop up some nasty gits. And these Bleak Swords are having a horrible time. Grimgor, of course, with Wah, Stand Your Ground, and Get Snick is just going to turn them to mincemeat. The Crimson Killers are in there. So, sadly, we don't have the Immortals. I really wish we did, just to have that Regiment of Renown, but what can you do? We are just able to crush these guys. In the meantime, the Charybdis. Horrible position here. It's fighting this goblins who are trash. Like, it needs to be over here fighting the Savage Orcs, or ideally the Black Orcs, or even in the back against the Lockyer, not the Lockyer, the Arachnarok Queen, but it's just doing none of that. Unfortunately, over here, the Night Goblin Shaman is routed off. We are able to get a Gorkla Fix It on top of Lockyer, which is slowing him down, preventing him from escaping, and then it lets the Nasty Skulkers get on top of him. In the meantime, we are trying to sort of chip away here at the Sorcerers, but she fireballs my Night Goblin Shaman and is going to be able to rout him off the field, which it's tragic. Not much we could have done about that. Definitely something you just got to be wary of with Greenskins. and definitely a reason for why Grimgor is the best, because he's tough to snipe. And so here Grimgor is smacking down these Black Arc Crusaders. My opponent's Dark Shards are forced to flee, and at this point I kind of decided, screw this, I'm not wasting my time defending my artillery pieces. That is unorky anyway. Let's push in with the Ragnarok Queen. So she is just piling in here, and I actually made a huge miscalculation here. I assumed this Charybdis was actually a Hydra, because the Hydras are pretty common in this matchup. So I kind of assumed this is a Hydra. And so my opponent here is actually going to get in on me with the Charybdis, which obviously is anti-large. AP does poison, so it's already doing a lot of damage to my Ragnarok Queen before she turns around to engage. But it does have the support of these Gobos and all that, which will help a good bit. Now over here, Loki does dive in on the Doomdiver Catapult, but the crew is able to escape because they just rout. And the Skulkers are there, and they're going to start surrounding Lockyer and beating the snot out of it, because the Skulkers are just nasty. At the same time back here, the Sorcerer's Fire does dive in, but she's now too close to the Skulkers, who are going to be able to get on top of her shortly. Once I notice, you can see she gets smoked and is getting shanked. Smoked and shanked. Perfect combo. Well, here in the pits, Grimgor is looking for a new challenge, and he's found one. So he's going after the Charybdis, looking to teach it who's boss, show it who is truly the best. And he is just dicing it up, hitting it with that 500 weapon strength. And yeah, it's having a horrible time of it. It's getting torn to shreds. It's down 2,700 HP. We're definitely not where it wants to be. Savage Rock and Big Guns are in there. Second wall goes off. Definitely that shows the magic of Grimgor. The fact they're able to get walls off so easily and so safely. We're able to tear apart this Charybdis. It's basically gone. There's very little left now for my opponent. Spiderlings got summoned on the backline, which compromised these Dark Shards for way too long. The infantry is trying to pour back in, but the Crimson Killers are having a field day. The Savage Rock and Big Guns are in the pits, shredding everything. And the Charybdis here is forced to flee. And actually a bit of a misplay here on my part. I summoned Spider Hatchlings thinking this was a Hydra. So I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't really check the fact that it's not regenning. And I saw all this HP, and I'm like, crap, it's a Hydra, it's going to regen. So I sent my Spiderlings after it. I legitimately didn't realize this was a Charybdis this entire game. So, yeah. We sent Spiderlings after the Charybdis, and they're chasing it off the field. Elsewhere, Lockyer does try to dive in to rally his forces, but Grimgor is there, or actually Grimgor is not there. He's wandering off of the Charybdis, but he's coming back. And so, seeing Grimgor coming for him, murder in his eyes, Lockyer Fellheart decides to flee for dear life, and that is probably the best decision, because it does save him, means he doesn't meet the fate of his sorceress there. So yeah, a fun little build. Obviously, I'm not going to say that was the most competitive match. My opponent's blobbing was definitely a big mistake, and I think his build not necessarily the most optimal. And we can discuss that in a second. But it was a fun match. I actually do think this build, if you're trying to make Grimgor work, is okay. Not the most amazing composition ever, but obviously Grimgor surprisingly did well. 48 kills. He kills units pretty effectively. He kills models pretty effectively. And he can recharge War relatively quickly. He's got Gitsnick, so he does some work. Is he worth it for the price? He costs almost 2,000, I think, with the kit I brought. Probably not. But it was definitely fun. And he's less of a crappy lord than he used to be. He's more competitive now. Unfortunately, still not bumped to like borderlow levels of competitive. But where he went from crap to good. But who knows? Maybe Grimgor will eventually get there. Besides that, Savage Rock Big Guns and the Crimson Killers raking in the kills. Surprisingly, Crimson Killers didn't get that much. Might have just been the way they were clumped in against the Charybdis and in an awkward position. They just weren't able to get their Choppas swing in well enough. So the Big Guns stole the glory. That'll probably settled in the camp later. Over the, Doomdiver Catapults had a field day. That blob was really just conducive, and that is why you shouldn't blob. Now, Doomdivers are actually, in my opinion, a very powerful artillery piece right now. They are absolutely brutal. They can decimate enemy infantry of all sorts. They bypass shields, of course. They can really slaughter just about anything, and they're actually not bad against flyers or against lords and heroes and single entities. And as you saw in one of my recent replays, they were able to kill 10 at once. So they're definitely a strong unit. Finally, the Queen definitely did some work. She paid her dues. She went toe-to-toe with the Charybdis with a lot of help and won. She definitely chased off Lockyer and the Sorceress, which is pretty cool. Definitely just a nifty unit all around. Now, for my opponent's build, I think there were some issues with composition. Now, obviously, Lockyer, go ahead. Try your heart out. I don't think Lockyer's the most competitive. I think most would agree. But, hey, you can make him work. He's definitely not terrible. Sorcerer's Fire, not bad, but Flaming Sword of Ruin is a kind of a wasted spell against Greenskins. Piercing Bolts is much better, because if the Greenskins surround your Lord, if they surround your Charybdis, you can nuke them with a Piercing Bolt, and it does huge amounts of damage. It can nuke Black Orcs, it'll just decimate Savage Orc, Big Guns, Goblins, anything. It is just an amazing spell. So really, or if your opponent brings Heavy Calf, which, you know, isn't the most common thing with Greenskins, but sometimes you'll see Cav play Piercing Bolts. Great spell against them. And I definitely think it's a better spell than Flaming Sword of Ruin and honestly even Burning Head against Greenskins. Charybdis was a bit of an oddball choice. I think my opponent was looking to do like a leadership bomb with the Charybdis and the Fellheart. Personally, if you're doing that though, I think you want to bring a Sorceress of Death to get the Doom and Darkness casted, because that just brutalizes enemy leadership. Otherwise though, the Charybdis definitely not paying its dues. Got like 34 kills, most of those on goblins, which who gives a dang. It's just not that good of a unit, I think. And against Greenskins, it's kind of pointless. Like, sure, it'll do well against an Ragnarok, but Dark Shards will also do well against an Ragnarok. And that would be my final critique. And this kind of is decimating like this entire build, unfortunately. But I think Sister of Slaughter or Horgonath Executioner is definitely a better way to go. And if you want to bring shooting or skirmishers, I think you're better off with Dark Riders, with repeater crossbows. The simple fact is Greenskins are a very good faction at compromising backlines. The build I brought here is actually probably one of the worst you're going to see from a Greenskin player at compromising backlines. And despite that, the Dark Shards were getting compromised. So my recommendation would probably be go with Dark Riders and repeater crossbows. It's going to be safer. You can protect yourself against Spider Riders, Quake Hoppers, even Wolf Riders a lot better. So yeah, that's my 2 cents there. And this front line, it's okay. The main thing is that it just doesn't hold up against the Orc elites, especially Savage Orc, Big Guns, and Black Orcs. Mince you. Regardless, good effort here from David Hasselhoff. Well played. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found it fun and entertaining. It was obviously a bit of a silly match running Grimgor and making the big boy work and proving that he's the best. So, as usual, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments, critiques, and questions down below, and I'll do my very best to respond. And as usual, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.